I've had so many conversations with women in the past month where they're like, calorie counting doesn't work for me because every time I try it, I put my details into MyFitnessPal or another online calculator and it tells me that I need 1,200 calories. And I feel so shit with that I just can't do it. And so I want to make this video to explain why that doesn't work. Long story short is that 1,200 calories for most women is way too few calories. In order to lose weight, you do need to be in a caloric deficit, but you need to be in a moderate caloric deficit that you can tolerate for a long enough period of time to see changes. If you're in too big a deficit, you're going to crash and burn. So what you need to do is, first of all, figure out what your maintenance calories are. How do you do this? Go to your online calculator like MyFitnessPal, or if it fits your macros, whatever, and select maintenance. Okay, and then it will give you, based on your stats like your height, your gender, it will give you an estimate of how many calories you burn in a week. If you have a Fitbit, use the number on that, like manually input it, because it's going to be way more accurate. It's still not 100% accurate, but it's way more accurate. So this is your maintenance calories. And for most women, it's at least 2,000 calories. That's the number of calories you need to eat every day in order to maintain your weight. So if we jump to a 1,200 calorie diet, that's an 800 calorie deficit. It's almost half your calories. It's way too many. You're not going to be able to maintain that for any length of time in order to be able to see results, because it sucks, because you're going to be hungry, because you're going to be tired, because you're going to be grumpy, and because your metabolism is going to start like going down because you're just not like moving enough and you're not eating enough to support everything that your body wants to do. So what you do want to do is you do want to create a deficit, but the classic deficit is a 500 calorie deficit. 500 calories because that equates to about a pound a week or half a kilo a week, but also because it's a moderate enough deficit that you can actually tolerate it for a long enough period of time to see results. If you go for a bigger deficit, so often what happens with MyFitnessPal is you put in that I want to lose 2 pounds a week. Great, but if you want to lose 2 pounds a week, you've got to be in a 1,000 calorie deficit, and that's just not maintainable. So you don't want to select that, and that's the big problem with MyFitnessPal, is that it allows you to select that option, and no one can maintain that. So you want to be in a big enough deficit that you lose weight, but not in such a big deficit that it's like intolerable. 500 calories is about right. But you got to remember that this is a starting point. You start with, say now you decided, okay, I'm going to try 1,500 calories, because that's more or less a 500 calorie deficit. If you're really, really hungry and you feel really shit and you feel really tired, you're not eating enough calories and you've got to add some calories to it. So try adding 100 calories or 200 calories. If you're not losing weight, try eating fewer calories, not 500 calories fewer again, like another 100 calories less, 200 calories less. It's all about adjusting. Most women, what they do is they do a 1,200 calorie diet, and then they get so fed up that they just go back to what they were doing before. And then they get fed up that they want to lose weight, and so they go back to the 1,200 calorie diet. What I'm trying to say here is that there's a hell of a lot in between the 1,200 calories and your maintenance calories. So just try adjusting and being somewhere in the middle, rather than always going from one extreme to the other. Like, try eating 1,700 calories. Another thing I want to say is that you don't have to be in a 500 calorie deficit. You will also lose weight on a 200 calorie deficit, and it's going to be much, much easier to maintain. It will take longer, but it'll be much, much easier to maintain. Also, if you're extremely active, or if you're quite muscular, or if you're very tall, or if you're carrying quite a lot of excess weight, or all of the above, you are likely going to need way more than 2,000 calories a day to maintain your weight. So you need to take that into account. That's why it's so important to calculate your maintenance calories. I spoke to a woman this week who's like a high-level sportswoman, and she's burning like at least like she must be burning like upwards of 2,500 calories a day, and she's trying to eat 1,300 calories. Of course, she feels shit on 1,300 calories. It's way too few calories. You've got to adjust the number of calories according to how many calories you actually need in a day. You can't just pick a random number like 1,200 or 1,500 or whatever the number is. You can't just pick some random number and try to stick to that. How did you get to that number? How many calories do you actually need a day? And then how much of a deficit can you tolerate? That's how we get to the number that you need to start losing weight. Not by just randomly, not because 1,200 is some magical number. I think that's all I want to say on the topic right now. There's obviously so much more that can be said, but I wanted to make a really short video. So I hope this is helpful. Don't do a crazy deficit. Try and make a smaller deficit and try to make it tolerable so that you can stick to it for a longer period of time.